Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, the alarm cutting through the darkness like it does every single day. Your hand fumbling across the nightstand to silence it before it wakes everyone else. Your body still heavy with the remnants of another night of restless sleep, where your mind would unshut off, replaying the day's stresses, and you shuffle to the bathroom with that familiar drag in your step. Flip on the harsh overhead light that always makes the room feel colder and more unforgiving, casting shadows that highlight every line and crease on your face. And you look in the mirror, really look, not just a quick glance to fix your hair or brush your teeth, and there he is. The guy who spent years, maybe a full decade or two, or even longer if you're being brutally honest, chasing something elusive that never quite arrives, never quite lands in your grasp, no matter how hard you reach, never quite fills the persistent, gnawing space inside your chest that keeps you up at night. More money to quiet the nagging money worries that never fully go away no matter how many overtime hours you log. More rank at work to feel like you finally matter in the grand scheme of things, like your voice carries weight. More nods and likes and thumbs up from people who barely know the real you. The you behind the polite smiles and the professional facade only to stand there and feel emptier than you did yesterday. More hollow, like you're living inside a shell that's getting thinner every day. A shell that's all performance and no substance. All motion without any real meaning or direction. What if the entire ladder you've been climbing with everything you've got, every ounce of effort and determination and sweat, the one your parents drilled into you during childhood dinners around the kitchen table, with stories of hard work paying off. Your teachers reinforced in school assemblies with inspiring tales of success. Your bosses echoed in performance reviews with promises of advancement if you just keep pushing. Those motivational posters and self-help books all swore would lead straight to freedom, security, happiness, and peace is actually propped against the completely wrong wall. And deep down, in those quiet moments you shove aside during the rush of the day, when you were too busy to listen or too scared to face it, you've known it for a long time. Felt that nagging doubt creeping in like a shadow you can't outrun, a whisper that grows louder in the silence of night. If that thought just dropped your stomach like a rock into deep water, stirring up old memories of sleepless nights, tossing and turning with regret over choices made, of unfulfilled promises from years past that still sting like fresh wounds of that persistent sense of something missing no matter how much you achieve or accumulate, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell right now, because by the time this video wraps, you'll see the hidden loop that's been pulling your strings since you were old enough to click add to cart or swipe a card. And it might just be the nudge, the spark, the catalyst that finally sets you free from the endless cycle of striving and wanting. Stick tight to the end. I've jammed this with mind-bending turns that flip your perspective upside down. Everyday struggles you'll recognize instantly and feel deeply in your bones, and deep truths that'll keep you hooked, nodding along, feeling seen for the first time, and maybe even ready to try the one simple challenge that could change everything about how you approach your days. You know that exact rush. You've felt it 100 times, maybe 1,000, maybe more if you're being honest with yourself about how often it happens. The moment your thumb hovers over buy now on your phone or laptop, the anticipation builds like electricity running through your veins. Your pulse quickens, your breathing gets a little shallower as excitement takes over. Your mind races ahead and already pictures how much better, happier, more complete, more in control life will feel once that package arrives at your door in 2 days or less, with free shipping to sweeten the deal. It's not just shopping anymore, it's a promise you make to yourself. A little vow that this time it'll be different, this time it'll stick. A tiny hit of progress in a world that feels more chaotic and out of control every year, with news cycles spinning faster, uncertainties piling up like unpaid bills, global events feeling closer and more unpredictable, a spark of control when everything else work pressures, relationship tensions, the future's unknowns, seems to be slipping away no matter how hard you grip or plan. And then the box finally shows up, usually right on schedule, sometimes even early to surprise you and add to the thrill. You tear it open with that same excitement, the tape ripping loudly in the quiet room, the bubble wrap popping under your fingers like little celebrations. You pull it out, try it on if it's clothes, plug it in if it's tech, test it out, use it once or twice with that initial thrill buzzing, and that's it. The high fades faster than it came, like air leaking out of a balloon you just inflated with hope. Within days, sometimes hours, the thing that was supposed to fix something inside you, make you feel more confident in social settings, more put together in your daily life, more worthy of admiration from others, is just another object sitting on a shelf, in a drawer, or in the back of the closet, gathering dust alongside all the other forgotten purchases from similar cycles. and the emptiness creeps back in. Quieter this time, but deeper, more familiar, more persistent. Like an old friend you wish would leave, but who always returns. You tell yourself the usual excuses to justify it, and move on. Wrong item that did unmatch the description. Wrong color that looked better online. Wrong timing when you weren't ready for it. Wrong size that didn't fit quite right. Maybe I didn't need it after all. Maybe next time it'll be the one that sticks. So you brush it off, shake it off, push it down, and start the cycle all over again. Another late night search through endless options that seem tailored just for you by clever algorithms. Another cart filled with hope and possibility. Items carefully selected after reading reviews. Another checkout with that quick, addictive thrill of completion and anticipation. Another hit of that fleeting feeling that everything might finally be okay. That this is the purchase that'll make the difference, that'll fill the gap. The loop feels so familiar now, it's almost comforting. Like an old habit you can't imagine life without. A ritual that gives structure to your days. Until one day you realize it's not progress at all, it's engineered addiction. Crafted with precision to keep you coming back for more. To keep the machine running smoothly. This isn't random or accidental. It's deliberate. It's calculated down to the finest detail, with teams of experts behind it. Decades of behavioral science. From B.F. Skinner's famous operant conditioning experiments with rats in controlled labs back in the mid-20th century, rewarding behaviors to see how habits form, to the modern app designers and e-commerce teams who literally studied casino slot machines to figure out how to keep people pulling the lever over and over, hoping for the big win, have turned your attention into the most valuable resource on earth, more precious than oil, gold, or even data in some ways, because attention drives action. Every notification that pings your phone at the perfect moment to interrupt your focus and draw you back in. Every flash sale banner that creates artificial urgency with countdown timers ticking away. Every only 3 left in stock warning that triggers fear of missing out and scarcity. Psychology, every algorithm that knows your insecurities, your browsing history, your late night doubts, your past purchases better than your best friend or your spouse predicting what you'll want next. It's all built line by line of code to keep you in a state of mild, manageable dissatisfaction. A low-level itch you can't fully scratch or ignore. Not miserable enough to quit the whole system and walk away from modern conveniences, but never satisfied enough to stop, to rest, to say this is good, this is enough for me. The system doesn't want you happy or at peace with what you have. It wants you hooked, dependent, always reaching for the next thing, always scrolling for more. Because a truly content person doesn't need to buy more stuff to feel okay. A content person doesn't scroll for hours chasing dopamine hits from likes and deals. A content person doesn't need the next upgrade, the next trend, the next limited edition drop, the next fix to quiet the inner noise or fill the void. And when enough people stop needing more, the whole economy built on endless consumption, on perpetual growth at all costs, starts to tremble, too slow, to crack under its own weight, threatening the structure. Now picture this in vivid detail, like a movie playing out. A regular guy in his late 30s. Decent job that pays the bills but leaves little left over for fun or savings. Nice enough apartment in the city, with a view of other apartments and bustling streets. Closet stuffed with clothes he barely wears because styles change every season, and what was cool last year feels dated now. Taking up space, phone loaded with apps he downloads on impulse but never really uses. Cluttering his home screen with notifications. One day he decides to do something that sounds almost crazy in today's always-on, always buying world. Not quit his job and disappear into anonymity. Not sell everything he owns and move to the woods off the grid to live simply. But simply stop buying anything non-essential for 30 full days. A complete month of restraint. No new gadgets that promise to make life easier or more productive with bells and whistles. No impulse clothes that catch his eye in targeted ads popping up everywhere. No takeout or delivery when he's bored, stressed, lonely, or just craving something different to shake up the routine. Just the absolute basics: rent to keep the roof over his head, groceries to eat healthy and nourishing meals, gas to get to work and run errands, bills to keep the lights on and the internet running. At first, the urge hits like a tidal wave crashing over him, overwhelming. His thumb hovers over checkout buttons like it's automatic, like muscle memory from years of habit and conditioning. His brain screams at him, "You're missing out on the deal of the century, the thing everyone else is getting and talking about. Life is going to be boring without new things to look forward to or unbox. You'll fall behind, look outdated in your old stuff. People will notice you're not keeping up with trends or having the latest." The discomfort is real and intense. like withdrawal from a habit. The restlessness is palpable, making him fidgety and irritable. But he pushes through, one day at a time, reminding himself why he started, perhaps journaling or talking to a friend for support. And around day 10, something strange, almost magical, unexpected starts to happen. The restlessness begins to quiet, to subside like a storm passing. The constant background noise of wanting, of craving, fades into something softer, more peaceful, more manageable. He notices the sky during his daily walks, really notices the colors shifting with the time of day, the clouds forming shapes that spark imagination, the way the light changes with the seasons. He finally picks up books he bought years ago and never opened, losing himself in pages and stories instead of endless screens and feeds. He calls friends he hasn't talked to in months, even years, instead of scrolling past their stories on social media. And the conversations feel alive, genuine, connecting on a level that's been missing. By day 30, he doesn't feel deprived, restricted, or left behind. He feels lighter, unburdened, clearer in his thoughts and emotions, more focused on what truly matters. Like he's woken up from a long, expensive, exhausting dream he didn't even realize he was trapped inside. A dream that cost him time, money, peace, and perhaps even parts of himself. That guy isn't special. He isn't some monk or guru with superhuman willpower or discipline. He's just an ordinary person like you or me, who accidentally discovered what the entire system tries so hard to keep hidden from us. Most of what you think you need to be happy, to be complete, to be enough is actually distraction from what you already are. From the core of who you are when the noise stops and the wants quiet down. When you strip away the layers, the clothes that promise style and confidence, the tech that promises convenience and connection, the subscriptions that promise entertainment and knowledge, the endless upgrades that promise improvement and efficiency, the limited drops that promised exclusivity and status. They're not filling a hole in your life. They're digging it deeper, wider, making it harder to ever feel satisfied or at rest, perpetuating the cycle. Every purchase is a quiet vote for the story that says, you're not enough yet. But maybe after this one thing, this one buy, you'll finally be closer to enough, to okay, to content. And the moment you stop voting, stop participating in that story, the whole narrative starts to crumble, to lose its power over you, to fade away like a bad dream. Carl Rogers, the brilliant psychologist who spent his entire career studying what makes humans truly thrive and grow into their potential, talked about the painful gap that forms between who you really are at your deepest level, your authentic self with all its quirks and strengths, and the person you're trying to become to please the world, to fit in, to be accepted by society, to avoid rejection. When that gap grows too wide from years of pretending, from years of performing roles that aren't truly you, anxiety creeps in like fog rolling over a calm lake, obscuring everything. Depression follows like a heavy shadow. You cook and shake, no matter how hard you try or how bright you force your smile. You feel split inside like you're reliving two separate lives. The one you show everyone else with smiles, achievements, and filtered photos that look perfect on the surface, and the one you live alone at 2 a.m. when the house is quiet and the doubts get loud, unrelenting, accusing. Consumerism exploits that gap perfectly, almost surgically, with precision marketing tailored to your data. It sells you products that promise to close the distance, better skin to look younger and more desirable in photos, better body to feel confident in your own skin when you look in the mirror, better status to be respected by strangers and peers at events, better life to finally feel worthy of love and belonging. But every purchase just widens the gap further, because the ideal self they sell, the version of you in the ads and influencers posts, is always one step ahead, always slightly out of reach, always requiring the next thing, the next upgrade, the next trend to chase and acquire. And social media turns the whole thing into a 24/7 performance that's exhausting to maintain. Your life becomes content for others to consume and judge from afar. Your worth becomes likes, comments, and shares that fluctuate with algorithms. Your identity becomes a carefully curated highlight reel that hides the real struggles, the mess, the humanity behind the screen. You trade authenticity for approval. That's shallow and temporary, depth for visibility that's fleeting and superficial. And then you wonder why you feel so profoundly disconnected, even when you reconnected to thousands of people online, why the loneliness persists despite the numbers and notifications. This isn't about making you feel guilty for buying things or enjoying material comforts in life. It's about pattern recognition. It's about seeing the cycle for what it really is, how it operates under the surface. The average person is exposed to thousands of advertisements every single day. From billboards on the commute to work to pop-ups on your computer screen, to sponsored posts in your social media feed. Each one is a tiny whisper in your ear. You're missing something essential to your happiness. You're not complete without this. Fix it with this product right now, before it's gone or the price goes up. And when you listen long enough, day after day, year after year, those whispers become your own thoughts, your own inner voice, convincing you without you even noticing. You start to believe that lack is real, inherent, permanent, that happiness, confidence, worthiness are always one purchase away, one click from solving everything, from making you feel okay in your skin. But the science tells a very different story, a sobering one backed by decades of research. Studies on hedonic adaptation show that the joy, the excitement, the satisfaction from new things fades in a matter of weeks, often days, as you adjust and it becomes the new normal. The baseline. Martin Seligman, widely regarded as the father of positive psychology, who pioneered the field with groundbreaking work, drew a clear, sharp line between two different kinds of good feelings, pleasure and meaning in life. Pleasure is quick, cheap, temporary, and highly addictive. Exactly what consumerism delivers in massive quantities through instant gratification and novelty. Meaning is slower to build, deeper to feel, harder to package, harder to monetize, and almost impossible to sell in a box, an app, or a subscription service. That's why the system pushes pleasure so hard, so relentlessly. So cleverly it's profitable for companies, for economies, for growth metrics. Meaning isn't as easy to turn into quarterly earnings or stock growth, so it's sidelined. So what happens when you interrupt the loop? When you refuse to let the next purchase define your mood, your worth, your day, your identity, your sense of self? When you sit with the discomfort, the restlessness, the boredom, the urge that pulls at you, instead of numbing it with another order, another delivery, another quick fix that promises relief but delivers more want. At first, it's awkward and uncomfortable, like breaking a bad habit you've had for years, boring even. Like time stretches out without the distractions to fill it. Your brain, trained for years like a lab rat in Skinner's box, responding to rewards and reinforcements, throws tantrums, urges you back to the familiar cycle with intensity, with cravings. But then something shifts, gradually, quietly, powerfully, almost imperceptibly at first. The silence stops feeling empty and scary. It starts feeling like space, real space, to think clearly without interruption, to feel emotions without rushing to cover them up or escape, to remember who you were before the constant background noise of ads, notifications, and wants took over your mind and days. You start noticing how much of your day used to be spent in anticipation of the next thing, the next delivery, the next unboxing, the next trend rather, than being fully present in the current one, in the now, in the moment. You realize how much of your identity, your sense of self, was tied to what you own, what you display to others, what you consume to signal status or taste, instead of who you are, what you value deeply, what matters to you at your core, beyond material things. And slowly, quietly, almost without trying or forcing it, you begin to reclaim something the entire system never wanted you to have back: sovereignty over your own attention, your own choices, your own life, free from the pull of constant consumption. This isn't about becoming a minimalist monk, living with nothing but essentials in isolation from society. It's not about rejecting the world, or modern life, or swearing off buying anything ever again, turning your back on conveniences. It's about becoming conscious and awake to how things work, to the mechanics behind the curtain. It's about asking a simple but powerful question before every click, every swipe, every cart addition. Is this coming from a genuine, honest need in my life right now? Something that aligns with my values? Or is it coming from a manufactured lack? A feeling created by years of marketing, ads, social comparisons, and cultural pressure to keep up? Is this choice truly mine, made from my own values and desires? Or is it the result of subtle programming that has been running in the background? For so long, I thought it was my own voice, my own want. The real challenge is to stop consuming completely. The S, not realistic or even necessary. For most people in today's connected world, the challenge is to consume with eyes wide open, with intention, with awareness, to stop letting your precious attention be rented out to the highest bidder, without your full, conscious consent, without you deciding if it's worth it. The guy who did the 30-day challenge didn't become anti-consumer overnight. He didn't start judging everyone who buys things, or enjoys material comforts in moderation. He just became free from the grip it had on him, from the compulsion that drove him. He didn't reject the world or society. He rejected the hypnosis that kept him trapped in the cycle of want. And once the spell broke, once the fog cleared from his mind, he could finally see what had been there all along. hidden under layers of wanting and distraction. He was already enough. Not because he had everything the world says you need to be happy. Not because his bank account was overflowing with savings from not spending. Not because his closet was perfect and organized with only essentials, but because he stopped believing the lie that he needed everything, every new thing, every upgrade to be whole, to be worthy, to be complete as a person. So here's the question that won't let you sleep tonight. The one that keeps coming back, no matter how you try to dismiss it or distract yourself. What would happen if you stopped the chase? Not forever, not dramatically, not in some extreme all-or-nothing way, just long enough to hear the silence beneath the wants, to sit with it without running, to feel what it is like to exist for a little while, without the next thing dangling in front of you like a carrot on a string, always just out of reach, always promising more, to discover that the hole you were trying to fill with stuff, with upgrades, with more was never real in the first place. It was an illusion created by a system that profits handsomely when you feel incomplete. When you keep searching, when you keep buying. The system doesn't want you to ask that question. It doesn't want you to sit with it, to explore it, to test it. Because when enough people start asking, when enough people start listening to the silence instead of filling it with another purchase, another distraction, the whole illusion starts to crack under the weight of awareness. And when the illusion cracks, real freedom rushes in like a flood you can't stop, changing everything about how you live, how you feel, how you see the world. Your turn. Your move. What are you going to do with the next 30 days? What small step will you take to test it, to see for yourself?